The old clock on the wall ticks with a heavy, deliberate rhythm. It's the only sound in this empty apartment. Tonight is New Year's Eve, the night the world celebrates endings and new beginnings. But in here, time just drags. Each tick of the second hand is a tiny hammer blow against the silence. It's almost midnight. Out there, the city is a symphony of laughter, music, and anticipation. In here, it's just me and the four walls, holding our breath. The lights in the hallway flicker, once, twice, then they steady, casting long, distorted shadows that dance like ghouls on the peeling wallpaper. I hate how quiet it gets right before midnight. It's a suffocating kind of quiet, the kind that makes you hear things that aren't there. A floorboard creaking upstairs, the wind whispering your name. Or maybe it's just the building groaning under the weight of 100 lonely souls. I tell myself it's nothing, it's always nothing. I find myself staring at the front door. It's a solid piece of wood painted a cheerful, mocking shade of blue. There are 3 locks. I always check them. I checked them an hour ago, but right now it feels as flimsy as paper. I strain my ears, listening for the familiar sounds of my neighbors, the couple next door arguing, the student upstairs playing his guitar, but there's nothing. The entire building seems to have been swallowed by the night. Then a sound, soft at first, so soft I think I imagined it. Knock, knock. It's not loud, it's not aggressive, it's patient. It comes from the front door. My heart leaps into my throat, a frantic bird beating against my ribs. Who would be knocking at my door at this hour, on New Year's Eve? Everyone I know is somewhere else, celebrating. They think I am too. I don't move, I don't breathe. Maybe they'll go away. The ticking of the clock seems louder now, a frantic countdown, 1 minute to midnight. The shadows thrown by the flickering hall light stretch and twist, taking on monstrous shapes. The hallway outside my peephole is a void of darkness, a place where anything could be waiting. Knock, knock, knock. This time it's firmer, more insistent. A cold dread washes over me, chilling me to the bone. It's a feeling I know all too well, a memory I've tried to bury. A memory of another night, another door, another patient knock. No, it can't be. That was years ago. Miles away, impossible. My feet are glued to the floor. My gaze is fixed on the brass doorknob. It's not turning, not yet, but I can feel it. I can feel the presence on the other side. It's not a person, it's a weight, a pressure against the door, against the very air in this room. The silence that follows the knocking is worse than the sound itself. It's a knowing silence, a waiting silence. Suddenly the night explodes. Bursts of color flash through the window. Red, green, gold. The fireworks have started. The new year is here. From the street below, a muffled roar of celebration rises. Happy New Year. A distant crowd cheers. The light from the fireworks paints the room in strobing, frantic colors, revealing every dark corner for a split second before plunging it back into darkness. In that deafening celebratory chaos, I hear it again. Not a knock this time, a whisper. It slithers through the crack under the door, a cold, dry sound that cuts through the noise of the fireworks and the cheers. It's a single word, spoken in a voice I've spent years trying to forget. It whispers my name. The clock strikes 12, its chimes lost in the cacophony. The fireworks flash, illuminating the room in a beautiful, terrifying display. The world outside is celebrating a new beginning. But in here, I know, my past didn't just catch up to me. It's been waiting right outside my door. And this new year, it's finally come to let itself in. New Year's Eve is supposed to feel hopeful, a clean ending, a fresh start. But that one night, sitting alone in my house, it felt like something was ending the wrong way. I had decided to stay in. No parties, no crowds, just me, the TV muted in the background, and the steady, rhythmic ticking of the clock on the wall. It was a familiar sound, one that usually blended into the background, but tonight it seemed unnaturally loud. Outside, the neighborhood was eerily quiet, as if everyone had collectively decided to hold their breath before midnight. Around 11:30, I glanced at my phone and noticed I had no signal, not a single bar. No messages were coming through, and the Wi-Fi was out too. I just shrugged it off, assuming the network was overloaded with everyone sending their well wishes. Still, the silence felt heavier without the usual buzz of notifications or the muffled sound of music from nearby houses. The world outside my walls felt distant, almost non-existent. At 11:42, the clock in the kitchen stopped ticking. I didn't notice it at first. It was only when the silence became too perfect, too absolute, that I looked up. The second hand was frozen, pointing straight up. I checked my phone again. This time the screen was completely black. Dead, even though I knew I had charged it earlier. A small knot of unease began to form in my stomach. That was when I heard the first sound. Footsteps, not outside on the pavement, inside. Slow, careful, deliberate steps, coming from the hallway that led to the bedrooms. I stood up slowly, my heart suddenly hammering against my ribs. I lived alone, I knew that. I repeated it in my head, as if the fact itself could act as a shield. "Hello," I called out, my voice sounding thin and fragile in the suffocating quiet. There was no response. The footsteps just stopped. The silence that followed was even worse. I stayed perfectly still, straining to hear anything, any sign that I was just imagining things. After a long, agonizing pause, the sound started again, but closer this time, just beyond the archway of the living room. I slowly backed away, keeping my eyes locked on the dark hallway. Then, the lights flickered once, plunging the room into total darkness for a split second before coming back on. In that brief moment of blackness, the footsteps stopped again. Then I heard a voice. It was faint, distorted, like it was coming through a wall or from a great distance. It was a countdown. 10. I froze. The voice wasn't coming from the TV. It wasn't coming from outside. It was inside the house, echoing faintly, seeming to resonate through the walls themselves. 9. The sound seemed to shift, moving from the hallway to somewhere directly above me. My chest tightened as I realized it was coming from every direction at once, enveloping me. My hand scrambled for something, anything. I grabbed the nearest thing I could find, a heavy table lamp, hand backed toward the front door, my only escape. My hand shook uncontrollably as I fumbled for the deadbolt. 7. The lock wouldn't turn. It was jammed solid. 6. The lights began to dim, casting the room in an unnatural, sickly yellow haze. The voice grew clearer, closer, as if someone was standing right behind me. 5. I spun around, my heart leaping into my throat. Nothing. The room was empty, but the air felt wrong. Thick, heavy, pressing against my skin. 4. I heard breathing now, slow, steady, and it wasn't mine. 3. The breathing was right next to my ear, a wet, chilling sound that made the hair on my arms stand on end. 2. I slammed my eyes shut, bracing myself for whatever was about to happen. 1. At that exact moment, fireworks exploded outside, lighting up the room with violent, silent flashes of red and white. And just like that, the voice stopped. The breathing vanished. The house fell completely silent again. I collapsed to the floor, my whole body shaking uncontrollably. When I finally worked up the courage to open my eyes, everything looked normal. The lights were steady and bright. The hallway was empty. From the kitchen I heard a familiar sound. The clock was ticking again, showing 12:01. My phone buzzed to life on the floor beside me, a sudden flood of missed messages and notifications all coming in at once. Happy New Year texts filled the screen. I didn't reply to any of them. The next morning, in the clear light of day, I noticed something carved lightly into the wall near the hallway entrance. The plaster was scratched, but the markings were deliberate. Numbers 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Every New Year's Eve since then, I leave the house before nightfall. I don't stay alone. I don't watch the countdown because I know now, sometimes, the countdown doesn't mean a beginning. Sometimes, it means something has finished waiting. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like and subscribe for more. Stay safe out there. I was driving home just before midnight on New Year's Eve. The roads almost empty. Most people were already at parties or gathered around their TVs counting down with people they loved. But I was alone, heading back from a late shift, my phone buzzing non-stop with notifications I didn't have time to check. At 11:49 p.m., my phone vibrated again, a text message. Unknown number, are you alone? I glanced at it and felt a chill crawl up my spine. I didn't reply. It was probably a prank, I told myself, a wrong number. Still, I locked my car doors and kept driving. A minute later, another message came through. Unknown number. Good. It's quieter that way. My heart began to race. I pulled into my apartment complex and parked under a flickering streetlight. I typed out a reply, then deleted it. Instead, I grabbed my keys and hurried inside, checking over my shoulder the entire time. Once inside my apartment, I locked the door and dropped my keys on the counter. The place felt colder than usual, darker. I checked the time, 11:55. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. I see you made it home. My hands started shaking. I ran to the window and peeked through the blinds. The parking lot was nearly empty. No one stood near my car. No headlights, no movement. Another message arrived. Unknown number. Don't look outside. You'll miss it. Miss what? I whispered to myself. At 11:57, the lights in my apartment flickered. My TV turned on by itself, switching to a local New Year's broadcast. The volume was muted, but I could see the crowd cheering, the countdown clock glowing in the corner of the screen. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. This is the part I like. I backed away from the TV, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it. I locked myself in the bedroom and sat on the bed, staring at my phone like it was about to explode. 11:59. The countdown began on the TV in the other room. 10, 9. My phone vibrated in sync. Unknown number. You won't remember me after this. 8, 7. I quickly typed, "Who is this?" and hit send. The reply came instantly. Unknown number. You already met me. 6-5. My bedroom door handle turned slightly. I froze, my breath catching in my throat. 4-3. The handle stopped moving. Silence pressed in around me, heavy and absolute. 2. My phone buzzed one last time. Unknown number. Happy New Year. Suddenly fireworks exploded outside. Cheers echoed through the walls. The TV volume surged as the crowd celebrated the new year. I looked at the bedroom door. It was still closed, locked. I didn't move until morning. When I finally checked my phone again, the number was gone. No messages, no call history, like it never existed. But when I stepped outside, I found something waiting on my car windshield, a folded piece of paper. Inside, written in shaky handwriting, were the words, "See you next year. I don't work late on New Year's Eve anymore." And when my phone buzzes from an unknown number, I don't answer. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, hit that like button and subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next one.